Let's dive in. We got a ton of requests to look into this smoke crypto chat thing.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting a lot of buzz.
Definitely. And from what I've seen, it's not just hype. There's some seriously interesting tech behind it.
Absolutely. It's not your average messaging app promising privacy.
Not at all. We're going deep on this one, folks, and we've got excerpts from Tag's Smoke Crypto Chat to guide us.
Yeah, that document lays out a lot of the core features and the philosophy behind it.
So for those just tuning in, what exactly is Smoke Crypto Chat?
At its core, it's an open source Android app for messaging, but there's a twist.
Yeah, it's not just another app trying to be like WhatsApp or Signal.
Exactly. They're claiming to be the world's first mobile messenger to implement the McEliece algorithm.
Okay, McEliece algorithm, now we're talking serious crypto stuff, right?
Yeah, this isn't just about keeping your chats private from prying eyes. This is about future-proofing security.
Future-proofing, you mean like...
Quantum computers, that's a big part of what they're focused on.
Wow, quantum computers. That's a whole other level of threat, isn't it?
It is, and Smoke Crypto Chat is built from the ground up to be resistant to those kinds of attacks.
That's wild. And I saw in the source material that they don't even require your phone number or contact list.
That's right. They take GDPR compliance very seriously, which sets them apart from a lot of the commercial messengers out there.
So privacy is like baked into the DNA of this app?
You could say that, yeah.
Okay, but back to this McEliece algorithm. It sounds like the heart of their quantum-resistant security, but what is it?
It's a public key crypto system, but it's based on something called algebraic coding theory.
Now, coding theory, that sounds pretty complicated.
Well, it's not about coding like writing software. Think of it as really complex math, like a puzzle that's super hard to solve without the right key.
Okay, so the McEliece algorithm leverages this complexity to make it really, really hard to break the encryption.
Exactly. It's considered one of the most promising candidates for what we call post-quantum cryptography.
Post-quantum, meaning it can withstand even the power of these future quantum computers?
That's the idea, yeah.
So it's like a super secure lock that only the sender and receiver have the key to, and even quantum computers can't pick it.
You got it. And they don't just use one version of this McEliece algorithm either. They actually implement multiple variations.
Hold on, multiple versions?
Yeah. They got McEliece Fujisaki,
Yep.
McEliece Pointcheval, and even a super McEliece modulus for enhanced security.
Whoa, they're really not messing around, are they?
Nope. They're committed to making this as secure as possible.
So who are the brains behind these different versions, the Fujisaki, Pointcheval, and all that?
Well, the Fujisaki-Okamoto conversions were developed by researchers at NTT Laboratories in Japan.
Japan. Okay, so this is a global effort.
And the Pointcheval adaptation was created by David Pointcheval, a French cryptographer.
Wow, so we've got some serious brain power going into this.
Oh yeah, these are some of the top minds in cryptography.
Makes you wonder, though, if all this complex math makes the app itself hard to use?
That's a good point, but from what I've read, they've tried to keep the user interface pretty straightforward.
So you don't need a PhD in cryptography to use Smoke Crypto Chat.
That's the goal, yeah. They want to make this level of security accessible to everyone.
Well, that's great news. Okay, so even if quantum computers can't crack the McEliece algorithm, how do regular users actually decrypt the messages?
Good question. That's where key management comes in.
Key management, right. That's something we hear about with a lot of encryption methods.
It is, but Smoke Crypto Chat has taken it to another level with their Fiasco Forwarding system.
Fiasco Forwarding. Okay, now that's a new one.
It's actually pretty clever. Each message gets encrypted with multiple temporary keys, these Fiasco keys.
Multiple keys per message. That sounds complicated.
It is, but the purpose is to make the messages incredibly difficult to trace back to the permanent keys.
So even if someone managed to get a hold of one of these temporary keys,
it wouldn't compromise the entire conversation.
Wow, that's smart. So it's like each message is leaving a trail of disappearing footprints.
You could say that, yeah. It adds a whole other layer of deniability and untraceability.
So how does this Fiasco Forwarding compare to other encryption methods out there? Like what Signal uses, for example?
Well, it's sort of an evolution of existing systems. Older methods like OTR used in Jabber used one key per session.
Right.
Then came Signal's Double-Ratchet protocol, which generates a new key for every message.
Okay, I'm following.
Fiasco Forwarding takes it a step further by generating multiple temporary keys for each message.
So it's building upon what's come before, making it even more secure.
Exactly. And they have another trick up their sleeve called Juggerknaut keys.
Juggerknaut keys. All right, now we're getting into some serious crypto lingo.
Don't worry, it's not as intimidating as it sounds.
Okay, good. So what are these Juggerknaut keys?
They're derived from a shared password that only the sender and receiver know, but here's the twist. These keys are never actually transmitted over the internet.
Wait, what? How is that even possible? If the keys aren't sent online, how do both sides end up with the same key?
It's the magic of something called zero-knowledge proof. It's a cryptographic technique that allows both parties to confirm they have the same key without actually revealing it.
Whoa, okay, that's mind-blowing.
It is pretty cool. It eliminates a huge vulnerability that a lot of other encryption systems have.
Because if the key never travels online, it can't be intercepted.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. It's a brilliant way to enhance security.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly secure messaging app with all this advanced crypto, but what about the server that handles the messages? Isn't that a potential weak point?
Ah, that's where things get really interesting. And that's where Smokestack comes in.
Smokestack! Okay, tell me more.
This is where Smoke Crypto Chat really flips the script on traditional messaging systems.
Oh, how so?
Well, you see, Smokestack is their server, and get this, it's designed to run on Android devices.
Wait, what? A server? On a phone?
You heard that right? Smartphones, tablets, even a Raspberry Pi can become your server.
That's wild. So, like, I could dig out an old Android phone from my drawer and make it my secure messaging server.
That's the idea. It's a completely decentralized approach.
That's amazing. So you wouldn't need these giant data centers to host messaging servers anymore.
Exactly. Anyone could potentially host their own secure server on a device they already have.
So how does that actually work? Like, how does a phone become a server?
It all comes down to how Smokestack is designed. They utilize simple HTTPS listeners, making it surprisingly easy to set up and run on common devices.
HTTPS listeners. Okay, not gonna lie, that sounds a bit techy for me.
Don't worry, the main point is that it's relatively straightforward to get it running. And here's another cool thing. It's not just limited to Smoke Crypto Chat.
Wait, seriously? Other messaging apps can use this Smokestack thing as their server too.
Yep, Smoke was built with interoperability in mind. So it can actually work with other HTTPS-based servers like the ones used by Spot-On, Spot-On Lite, and even Goldbug Messenger.
No way. So Smoke is really pushing for a more open and interconnected messaging world?
Absolutely. In fact, Goldbug Messenger has already integrated the Smoke and Smokestack installation files into their own package.
Wow, that speaks volumes about how open source collaboration can lead to some truly innovative solutions. I mean, we've got quantum-resistant encryption, these mind-blowing key management methods, and now this decentralized server thing, all in an open source package. It's really impressive.
It really is. Smoke Crypto Chat feels like more than just an app. It feels like a glimpse into the future of communication.
I completely agree. It raises so many questions about what's possible when you put privacy and security first. Like, what if we had more control over our data and digital interactions? Could this be a step towards a more user-centric internet?
Those are exactly the kinds of questions we need to be asking. And the fact that Smoke is open source means that anyone can contribute to this conversation and help shape the future of digital communication.
That's so important. It's not just a closed system controlled by a single company. It's a collaborative effort that anyone can be a part of.
Exactly. And the developers are going even further by sharing the source code as an educational resource. They want to encourage people to learn about how it all works and contribute to its development.
That's amazing. So it's not just a secure messaging app, it's a learning tool for anyone interested in Android development and cryptography.
Exactly. They're inviting everyone to come along on this journey and help build a more secure and private digital world.
And the best part is, with an Italian team already working on a Swift port for Apple's iOS, Smoke Crypto Chat has the potential to reach a much wider audience.
You're right. We could be witnessing the start of a truly global, privacy-focused communication network.
But before we get too carried away with the future, I think it's worth taking a step back and appreciating the historical context here.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the McEliece algorithm has been around for over 40 years, yet this is the first time we're seeing it implemented in mobile messenger. It makes you wonder why it took so long, you know?
That's a great point. It has been around for a while. Any thoughts on why it took so long to be utilized in this way? Well, even though the McEliece algorithm has long been considered a strong contender for post-quantum cryptography, it's also known for being pretty computationally intensive. Like it takes a lot of processing power to run it effectively.
So it's likely that it just wasn't feasible to implement it on mobile devices until recently?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the recent advancements in mobile processing power, combined with the growing need for stronger encryption, have finally made it possible to bring this powerful algorithm to the masses.
It's like this hidden gem of cryptography has finally been polished and made accessible to everyday users.
Exactly. And it couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, with all the concerns about data privacy and security these days, people are really looking for solutions that they can trust.
You're so right. Speaking of trust, the fact that Smoke Crypto Chat's developers view this project as a contribution to what they call the third epoch of cryptography is really interesting.
Right. I thought that was fascinating, too. Third epoch of cryptography. It sounds pretty grand, doesn't it?
It does. So what exactly does that mean? Like, where does this third epoch fit into the history of cryptography?
Well, think of it this way. The first epoch was all about classical ciphers and codes, like the stuff you might see in spy movies. Then came the second epoch, which brought us modern cryptography with things like public key crypto systems and digital signatures.
Okay, so we went from secret codes to more advanced digital encryption methods.
Right. And now we're entering what they call the third epoch, which is marked by a focus on even more advanced techniques like post-quantum cryptography, homomorphic encryption, and zero-knowledge proofs.
Wow, those are some serious cryptography terms. But the common thread seems to be a focus on user privacy and security.
Exactly. The third epoch is all about putting individuals back in control of their data and empowering them to communicate securely and privately.
And Smoke Crypto Chat is right there on the leading edge of this movement.
Absolutely. They're not just talking the talk. They're walking the walk by implementing these advanced techniques and making them available to everyone.
It's really inspiring to see. We've spent a lot of time talking about the technical aspects of Smoke Crypto Chat, but I think it's important to also consider the real-world implications of this technology. Like, how could this actually be used to make a difference in people's lives?
You're absolutely right. And that's where things get really exciting because the potential applications are vast.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine journalists being able to communicate securely with their sources without fear of their conversations being intercepted.
That would be huge for investigative journalism and whistleblowers.
Exactly. Or think about activists who are organizing protests in countries with repressive regimes. Secure communication could literally be a matter of life or death for them.
That's a powerful example. It really highlights how important secure communication is for protecting freedom of speech and human rights.
It really does. And with Smoke Crypto Chat's decentralized server approach, it could even be used in areas with limited internet access or where the traditional communication infrastructure has been compromised.
So it could be a lifeline for people in crisis zones or disaster areas. That's incredible. The potential for Smoke Crypto Chat to disrupt the status quo and empower individuals is really immense.
I agree. But it's important to remember that technology is only as good as the people who use it. Even with the most secure tools, there's always a human element to consider.
Absolutely.
For example, one of the challenges that Smoke Crypto Chat might face is user adoption. I mean, the technology is impressive, but it still requires people to download and learn a new app. And convincing people to switch from their familiar platforms like WhatsApp or Signal, even for enhanced security, could be an uphill battle.
Yeah, you're right. People get used to what they know, and changing those habits can be tough. What other challenges do you see?
Well, another challenge lies in its open source nature. While being open source encourages collaboration and transparency, it also means that the code is open to scrutiny and potentially exploitation.
Right. So someone with malicious intent could theoretically find a vulnerability in the code and exploit it for their own gain.
That's always a risk with open source software. But the flip side is that having many eyes on the code can also lead to faster identification and resolution of vulnerabilities. So it's a trade-off.
It's a classic security dilemma. Openness versus security. And then there's the whole ongoing debate about encryption and law enforcement access. Some argue that strong encryption hinders criminal investigations, while others say it's crucial for protecting privacy and security. How do you think this is going to play out with Smoke Crypto Chat?
It's a complex issue, and there's no easy answer. But the developers of Smoke Crypto Chat have made their stance very clear. They prioritize user privacy and security above all else. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the legal and political arenas.
Definitely. It's a conversation that we need to be having as a society. But for now, I think we've covered a lot of ground. We've explored the technical intricacies, the potential applications, and the broader implications of Smoke Crypto Chat. And it's clear that this is more than just another messaging app. It represents a potential paradigm shift in how we think about secure communication in the digital age.
I couldn't agree more. It's a fascinating case study in how technological innovation can challenge the status quo and empower individuals. And the fact that it's all happening in the open source realm makes it even more compelling.
Absolutely. It's a story that's still being written, and I'm really curious to see where it goes from here. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious, is there anything else about Smoke Crypto Chat that really stands out to you?
One thing that I find particularly intriguing is this concept of volatile encryption that the developers mention in relation to Fiasco Forwarding and Juggerknaut keys. It's this idea that the encryption is so ephemeral, so fleeting, that it becomes incredibly difficult to grasp or intercept.
Volatile encryption. That sounds intense.
It is. It's almost like a whisper in the wind that disappears as soon as it's spoken.
I love that analogy. So it's not just that the messages are encrypted, but the very method of encryption is constantly shifting and evolving.
Precisely. And that makes it incredibly difficult for attackers to gain a foothold.
It's like they've taken the concept of a moving target to a whole new level.
Exactly. And it's a testament to the developers' commitment to staying ahead of the curve and pushing the boundaries of what's possible in secure communication.
I'm blown away. Smoke Crypto Chat is truly a remarkable project. It's a testament to the power of open source innovation and a beacon of hope for a more private and secure digital future.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's definitely a project worth paying attention to. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire a whole new generation of cryptographers and privacy advocates.
Now, wouldn't that be amazing?
It would.
Well, for now, I think it's time to hand the reins over to our listeners. We've given you a glimpse into the world of Smoke Crypto Chat, but the real deep dive begins when you explore it for yourself. So go ahead, download the app, tinker with the code, and see if this is the future of secure messaging.
It's your chance to decide if this is the future of secure messaging or just another flash in the pan.
And you know us, we love diving deep into these kinds of things, so let's keep going with Smoke Crypto Chat.
Sounds good to me. Where do you want to pick up?
Well, we were talking about how Smoke Crypto Chat could make a real difference in the world, but we also touched on some of the challenges they might face, like user adoption.
Yeah, getting people to switch to a new app can be tough, even if it offers better security.
Especially when there are already established players like WhatsApp and Signal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People are used to those apps. They're convenient.
And let's be honest, a lot of people probably aren't even thinking about the security implications of their messaging choices.
It's true, but the more we talk about these things, the more awareness we raise.
Right, and hopefully that leads to people making more informed decisions about the tech they use.
That's the goal. So where do we go from here? What else did you find interesting in the source material?
You know, one thing that really struck me was this concept of volatile encryption.
Ah, yes. That's a core part of their philosophy, isn't it?
It is, and it's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it, this idea that the encryption itself is constantly changing and evolving.
It's like a security system that's always one step ahead of the attackers.
Exactly. It's not just about having strong encryption, it's about making the encryption process itself a moving target.
Makes it much harder to crack, that's for sure.
It does. And it ties back into what we were talking about earlier, this idea of future-proofing security against the threat of quantum computers.
Absolutely. Volatile encryption is a key part of their strategy for achieving that.
It's really innovative stuff, and it shows how committed they are to pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
I think it's also a reminder that security is not a destination, it's a journey.
Oh, that's good. You should write that down.
Maybe I will.
But you're right. It's an ongoing process. You're never truly done when it comes to security.
Exactly. The threats are always evolving, so the defenses have to evolve too.
And with Smoke Crypto Chat, it seems like they're really embracing that mindset.
They are. And that's one of the things that makes this project so exciting.
So where do we go from here? We've covered a lot of ground, but I feel like there's still so much more to explore.
There is. And I think the best way to really understand the potential of Smoke Crypto Chat is to experience it for yourself.
I agree. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another to actually use it and see how it works in practice.
Exactly. Download the app, tinker with the code, see what it can do.
And that's what we're encouraging all of you to do.
Yep. We've given you the overview. Now it's your turn to dive in.
And let us know what you think. We're always curious to hear from our listeners.
Absolutely. Share your thoughts, your questions, your insights.
We're all on this journey together, exploring the frontiers of secure communication.
And who knows, maybe Smoke Crypto Chat will turn out to be the game changer we've been waiting for.
Only one way to find out. So go forth and explore, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Smoke Crypto Chat, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I have to say, I'm impressed. They've really thought this through from the ground up. It's not just about slapping some encryption on an existing messaging app. They're really trying to build something different, something better. Yeah, I agree. The commitment to open source development, the focus on user privacy, the innovative use of cryptography, it's all really compelling.
And it's not just theory either. They're actually putting these ideas into practice.
Exactly. And that's what makes me optimistic about the future of secure messaging.
Me too. It feels like we're at a turning point. People are starting to wake up to the importance of privacy and security, and they're demanding better solutions.
And Smoke Crypto Chat is definitely one of the most promising solutions I've seen in a long time.
It is. It's a bold experiment, and it'll be interesting to see how it evolves over time.
Absolutely. But I think the real test will be whether it can gain widespread adoption. Can they convince enough people to make the switch?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But even if Smoke Crypto Chat doesn't become the next WhatsApp, I think it's already had a significant impact.
How so?
It's raised the bar for what's possible in secure messaging. It's shown that you can build a truly private and secure communication platform without sacrificing usability or features.
That's a great point. It's set a new standard for the industry, and that's something to celebrate.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire other developers to create even more innovative solutions.
I hope so. Because the more options we have, the better it is for everyone.
Exactly. It's all about empowering individuals to take control of their digital lives.
And that's a mission we can all get behind. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a few thoughts.
Sure.
First, don't underestimate the power of your choices. The apps you use, the services you subscribe to, the data you share, it all matters.
It really does. Every decision you make has an impact.
Second, be curious. Don't be afraid to explore new technologies and challenge the status quo. The future of the internet is not set in stone. We can shape it with our actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, don't be afraid to ask questions. The more we talk about these issues, the more informed we become and the better equipped we are to make good decisions.
Well said. So, to all our listeners out there, keep those questions coming. Keep exploring. Keep pushing the boundaries. And most importantly, keep fighting for a more private and secure digital future.
We'll be right here with you every step of the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Smoke Crypto Chat. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay secure.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.